Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us on today's webinar, How to Streamline Your Bill Pay Workflow with Hubdoc and Veem. My name is Jeffrey and I am your co-host for today's webinar. And I'm joined today by Melissa Mullet from Veem. Thanks so much for taking the time, Melissa.
Thank you for having me today. I can't wait.
My pleasure. Before we get into today's content, I'm going to go over a few housekeeping notes. First and foremost, yes, there will be a recording of the webinar, so keep an eye on your inbox either today or tomorrow to get a copy of said webinar. Ask questions in the GoToWebinar control panel. We have Victoria Hoffman, a Hubdoc, who will be moderating the chat, so she'll answer any immediate questions from within the chat, and then Melissa and I are going to cover as many questions as possible at the end of the webinar. And as you'll notice, we are streaming video, so we'd recommend closing any unnecessary windows in our applications. This will ensure that you have the best possible viewing experience. Great, so on to today's topic, one that I quite enjoy. It's about how to use technology like Hubdoc and Veem, and also cloud accounting software like Xero and or QuickBooks Online to automate bill collection, data entry, and payment processing. So we're going to talk at a high level about why this is important, how to use Hubdoc, Veem, and Xero to automate payment processing, but you could also switch out Xero for QuickBooks Online. It's going to be effectively the same workflow. And then we're going to also show you tips and best practices for standardizing your bill pay workflow. So first and foremost, why is it important to streamline your bill pay workflow? If you're thinking about offering bill pay as a service at your accounting or bookkeeping practice, and you're not necessarily utilizing cloud accounting technology, nor are your clients, you might run into a few key challenges. First and foremost, after talking to hundreds of accounting and bookkeeping practices throughout North America, those that don't use cloud accounting software have a relatively consistent challenge, and that's getting the financial information they need from their clients so that they can do things like bill pay, so that they can do things like bank reconciliation. For most of you in the audience, I'm sure you remember a time in which you've had to chase after a client at the end of the month, quarter, or year for a missing bill, receipt, or statement. This is still quite prevalent throughout North America and adds a lot of complexity and additional delays within your workflow. In addition to that, once you get access to a bill, you might find yourself entering data into your accounting software before you start to even pay it. If your clients have a high volume of bills, you could assume that this adds even more time into the workflow. And then once you have access to the bills, you have to go through relatively complex approval processes. If you don't have a centralized system to manage that, you might be doing this over email or by phone or by fax. And then when you're actually starting to issue the payments, you might be in a situation in which you're printing out checks, getting the signature from the account holder, sending it off by mail. And then once you got confirmation that the bill has been paid, manually reconciling that in your accounting software. This workflow can and should be automated utilizing tools like Hubdoc for document collection and data entry, and Veem for efficient bill pay. Melissa, do you have anything you want to add here about the traditional bill pay workflow and what some of the challenges accounting and bookkeeping practices may face?
Of course. So one big thing we can start off with is the approval function. It's actually a known fact that in compliance, most of your small fraudulent payments come from this step. Not having proper segmentation or dual approval processes can actually lead to small amounts being lost. So setting up systems in order to help your compliance procedures within your own firm really reduce that risks in your account payable process. Moving on to payments, check fraud is still a thing as much as we don't want to admit it is. Maybe less prevalent, but still so. It's a physical check that can be altered and or lost. Again, with that tracking someone down at the end of the month or quarter with a physical check, you have nothing more to go on, no tracking number than saying, well, it's in the mail. So using payment processes too to help your traditional bill pay will not only help your firm with more timely reconciliation, but also just give you peace of mind. You have something you can track because digitally we have those placements. And last in accounting, it's really important to make sure that with this new modern app stack, using softwares like Hubdoc or Veem, you are taking into account the fact that they do help with your reconciliation and not take away. It's no point in switching your process if the manual reconciliation takes just as long as that. So having a program that works with that two-way data sync is really important and will save your firm so much time.
Great. Thanks, Melissa.
No
So what are some of the strategic outcomes that happen from the traditional workflow? Sometimes are lost revenue opportunities. So if you're spending up to 30% of your time chasing financial documents and doing manual data entry, chasing after approvals, printing and writing and signing and sending out checks, and then manually reconciling accounts, you're not spending it on higher value activities like trying to attract more clients. If you streamline a lot of these processes, it really unlocks your ability to start to take on more clients per staff members and increase revenue at your practice. Poor client interactions. So from poor client interaction standpoint, you would imagine that chasing a client at the end of the month for a document or for an approval aren't necessarily the types of high value conversations that you'd expect to have with your clients and that your clients expect to have with you, their advisor. They're really looking to you for accounting expertise, but when it's kind of that constant back and forth, whether by email or by phone, as pleasant as they can be, it's not really the types of conversations that they want to be having as a small business customer. So the traditional workflow really creates an environment where these poor client interactions are possible. And then ultimately it's kind of, I don't like to say it's a waste of time because the process is incredibly important, but there is a lot of time waste throughout the process that can and should be automated with cloud accounting technology. And then by wasted time, it's time that your clients can be spent focusing on their business, and it's time that you can spend on, as I mentioned previously, in the lost revenue opportunities, take on more clients, or just kind of focus on the things that you want to do, focus less time in the business and focus more time on the business. So what are some of the benefits of offering bill pay as a service? So if you're offering bill pay as a service, you already know a lot of this information now, but if this is something that you're evaluating, and one of the reasons why you're watching this webinar, it's important to note that when bill pay as a service is introduced at your practice, you get access to more client data faster. So you're not just getting statements or receipts, you're now getting bills into your workflow. So you have a more holistic point of view of the money coming in and coming out of an account. It introduces new revenue stream at your practice, a service in which you can package and monetize and sell to your clients. And because of that, it provides additional value to your clients. If you're a bookkeeping practice that provides reconciliation services and month-end financials, adding bill pay to the process means that your clients have a single point of contact for everything bookkeeping related, and it's an opportunity for them to offload this relatively laborious and manual task. So now getting into the technology, how Hubdoc and Veem can help. So it's really about using cloud accounting tools to streamline your bill pay workflow by automating document collection and management and payment processing. This will allow you to more easily introduce bill pay as a service at your accounting or bookkeeping practice. And if you already have bill pay as a service at your accounting or bookkeeping practice, this will allow you to streamline that process. How? Well, we talked about the front end of the workflow, the challenges that accounting and bookkeeping practices have when trying to chase after their clients for bills, receipts, or statements at the end of the month. This is where Hubdoc comes in. Hubdoc is a data capture solution that helps you more efficiently and effectively get access to your clients' information. We do this by giving your clients the tools to quickly and easily upload documents via their mobile device. So we have a free application on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. It's as simple as your clients taking a picture of a receipt or a bill. We have an integration with Fujitsu ScanSnap. So if they have a large amount of paper bills at the end of the month, Fujitsu has an incredible ability to be able to process a large amount of paper documents, digitize them, and send them over into Hubdoc. And if they're using a desktop computer, so if they have a vendor who's sending them an email with a PDF bill attachment, they can just forward that over into Hubdoc. Every Hubdoc account gets its own Hubdoc email address for bill intake. Or you could just upload a document using the desktop. Something else that Hubdoc has, which is relatively unique in the marketplace, is automated connection to hundreds of financial institutions, utilities, telecom providers, and online suppliers. It's as simple as getting your clients to connect to one of those suppliers, putting in their username and their password to their online portal, and then on a recurring basis, Hubdoc will fetch documents automatically as soon as they become available. Regardless of how Hubdoc gets the document, we use machine learning and human quality assurance to automatically extract all the key data from said documents so that you're not focused on the data entry, you're letting the machines do it. And we're talking about the extraction of supplier name, date, total amount, invoice number, due date. You name it, we'll try to extract it. And with our seamless integrations into Xero and QuickBooks Online, you could publish those documents over as accurately coded transactions with the source document attached. And then this is where Veem comes in. Veem has access to all of the unpaid bills within your general ledger software, whether that's Xero, QuickBooks Online, and can issue the payment directly, have that reflected back in Xero and QuickBooks Online once complete for seamless reconciliation. So now I've kind of talked about the workflow, but keep in mind we're going to actually show you how this all comes to life in a live demo. And now, Melissa, I'm going to pass the mic over to you so that you could talk a little bit about Veem before we jump into the products.
Perfect. Thanks for covering the front end so well. And now moving on to the second end, that's where Veem comes in, of that payment flow. So it's simple and secure global business payments. We're a network of over 100,000 businesses, as well as operating in over 100 countries. So we aim to replace bank wires, expensive account payable and accounts receivable software, or PayPal to bring down the time spent and confusion around business payments. Our two-way data sync with accounting softwares, again, like QBO or Xero, will save your company time. So can you go to the next slide, please? Perfect, thank you. So how will we do this? So we save time setting up a reliable payment system for your client. Transparent pricing will save your clients time and also just give them better assurance. How we do this is that all rates are locked in. For example, an Amex FX payment or a PayPal, you'll see a marginal spread of about 6%. What that is that is your foreign exchange rate, so the difference between a euro and a USD, and then they'll take that into a spread. That small margin, they'll charge upwards of 6% on that margin. Veem caps it at 1.9, and we're always transparent with the pricing there. The price you lock in at is the price you're going to get. So moving on next, we save money for your clients with payments and invoices to the US and abroad in a couple of clicks. So I want to be fully transparent here. For Canada right now, we service them as an international payments. So payments in and out of Canada we can do. Domestic payments are coming soon. So please watch our social media, follow us at @GoVeem for all the latest updates. And save time wondering where your payments are using Veem's payment tracker at no cost. If any of you have ever used a wire and it's gone missing, you'll know about the trace, the bane of everyone's existence. A wire trace is something that can cost $10 or more just to know where your payment's at. Banks typically do this because, again, sending that money off on the SWIFT network is a bit of a jumble. There's intermediary banks and all of that in the middle. So instead, it's your money. You should have the peace of mind of where it is at all times. Well, not at extra cost. So Veem is the easiest and most cost-effective way to manage your client's business payments. You can set it up in about 10 minutes to make and receive payments for the 100 countries without bank fees or hassle. If you are using the US, we have a $1 per transfer, but we have no subscription fees. And again, currently we service payments in and out of Canada. Domestic payments are coming soon. So I think we can move on to that demo now.
Awesome, thanks Melissa, I really appreciate the overview. So now I'm gonna jump into the demo. I'm gonna go directly into the product. If you can let me know, can you see my screen?
Let's see, for me, I can, oh wait, where did mine just go? Oh, yep, there you go.
Awesome, great. So for those of you that are Hubdoc partners, you know the organizations page relatively well. For those of you that don't, I'm going to provide you with a quick overview. Effectively, this is your practice manager. This gives you an overview of all the clients that you have associated to your practice account, the documents within those accounts that are ready to be reviewed and processed, the status of some of your automated connections and or integrations, the associated staff members to each account. So if you have multiple staff members, you can quickly assign and revoke access directly from your organizations page. And effectively, quick and easy tools to add a new client account and or add staff. I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into one of my client accounts, so Foxglove Planet. Effectively, this is the view that every single one of your clients is going to have. It's kind of like a digital filing cabinet for all of your clients' financial documents. On the left-hand side, you have your folders. This is where your documents are going to live. In the middle, you have your document stream, which includes the All tab, which is relatively self-explanatory, all the documents that are available within the Hubdoc account. The Processing tab, this indicates when documents are being processed, meaning that a document has been uploaded and the key data is in the process of being extracted. The Review tab, this is where documents come in after the data has been extracted and ready for your review and processing. So this means ensuring that the key information is correct and then getting ready to code and post that document over to your Cloud General Ledger and or a cloud storage platform. The Fail tab is if a document failed to extract for whatever reason. Primarily, this typically happens when it's not actually a receipt or a bill. It'll show up in the Fail tab because the information failed to get extracted. And then Archived effectively means that once a document is out of the review process because you've published it over to QuickBooks Online or Xero or one of our many cloud storage integrations, it'll show up in the Archive tab. Getting documents into Hubdoc, as mentioned previously, is incredibly simple. You can provide your clients with the tools to upload documents using their mobile device. You'll see a picture of the mobile app here. It's as simple as them snapping a photo of a bill and or receipt. It's available for download on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And all they have to do is use their Hubdoc login credentials to get access to the application. They can upload a document from their desktop by either dragging and dropping a file into this area and or browsing their desktop for available documents. And then as I mentioned, every Hubdoc account gets issued a Hubdoc email. So if your clients get recurring bills or invoices sent to them by email, they can set up auto forwarding workflows and just have the documents show up in Hubdoc. And then the other way that we get documents directly in Hubdoc is through our automated connections. Automated connections are effectively connections in which you can access from your Hubdoc account by entering your online portal's username and password. And then every time a document becomes available from within that connection, Hubdoc will automatically fetch it. And I'll show you an example of this. So here I'm going to select Rogers. Rogers is a telecommunication provider in Canada. All I have to do is put in my phone number, which is my account username for my Rogers account, and then my password, and then click Add Account to establish the connection. So now you'll notice that Hubdoc is establishing a connection with the Rogers online portal. And once that's complete, the documents start flowing into Hubdoc. Every time a document becomes available on the Rogers online portal, it'll automatically show up into Hubdoc. In addition to that, a really interesting feature that Hubdoc has that we don't necessarily talk about enough is that not only are we automatically fetching your documents and making it easy for your clients to send you their documents, once we extract the key data, we'll automatically organize all of the documents within automatically created folders. The folders are going to have the appropriate vendor name, and every time Hubdoc recognizes a new document with that vendor name, it'll automatically file it within that folder. So you'll notice I established a connection with Rogers. The Rogers folders did not exist before, so Hubdoc created it and automatically filed all the documents within that folder. Every time a new Rogers document is recognized, whether because it was automatically fetched and or uploaded, it'll automatically place itself within the Rogers folder. So this saves a tremendous amount of time in collecting your client's documents, because as soon as they have one available to them, if Hubdoc doesn't have that automated connection, they can just snap a photo using their mobile device, send over an email using their Hubdoc email, or upload it using their desktop. And it goes without saying, if we have access to those portals through one of our automated connections, we take the client out of the process altogether, because documents will flow in as soon as they become available. So this helps you save a tremendous amount of time, and it removes a lot of the headache from your clients as well, because it makes it really easy for them to get you the information you need so that you can provide them with timely month-end financials so that they can make more informed business decisions. Now you'll notice that once a document has been uploaded to Hubdoc, all of the key information has been extracted. This is a combination of machine learning powered data extraction as well as human quality assurance when needed. I'm going to jump into one of my most recent invoices, which is from Cameron Supplies Canada. So you'll notice here, I clicked on the right-hand side. This is the edit data bar. This is where I'll review to make sure that all of the extracted data is correct. So you'll notice that Hubdoc automatically extracted the supplier name, so Cameron Supplies Canada, the invoice number, the date, the due date, the total amount. Because all of that information is correct, I can now move forward. You'll notice here that there are 2 line items. If I want to split out those line items, I can do so easily here, clicking the multiple line item split. That said, I'm going to publish this as a single line item. As mentioned previously, we integrate directly with Xero and QuickBooks Online, and that is a bidirectional sync, meaning that you'll notice not only am I connected to Xero, I have access to all of the contacts associated to that Xero account, as well as the chart of accounts. So that means that as I'm publishing these documents over into my Cloud General Ledger software, I'm doing all of the coding from within Hubdoc. So I'm just going to go ahead and publish one of these documents over, Cameron Supplies Canada. I'm going to publish it over as a purchase/bill. Status, I'm going to authorize it, so the status is authorized. Contact, I have the appropriate contact. If I didn't, I would have just clicked new contact, and then that would have automatically created the contact from within Xero. My apologies. And then here I'm going to come into my chart of accounts, and I'm going to code this as an inventory asset. And if I want to add a description, I can do so. Now, if this is a recurring bill that comes in on a regular basis, and I don't expect any of the characteristics to really change, I can save configuration, meaning that every time a Cameron Supplies Canada document is uploaded, it'll have the appropriate coding already associated to that transaction. And if I don't really want to review it on a month-to-month basis, because the amount is always going to be the same, I can select auto sync, meaning that the second that Hubdoc gets access to this document, it'll publish it over as a transaction without me even having to do this process. So I'm just going to publish this document over to Xero. Cool. So it's published by Jeffrey Bolano, that's me. Now let's jump into Xero and see what it looks like on the other end. So this is the Xero dashboard for those of you that don't use Xero. It's effectively where you'll get quick access to your reconciliation screen, your awaiting payments, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to jump into my bills to pay. You'll notice that a new bill has been created from within Xero. I'm just going to click into this. Cameron Supplies Canada. This bill was created by Hubdoc, so through the Xero API using Hubdoc. It has all of the appropriate account coding characteristics. and the source document attached. So all the way from document collection to data extraction to transaction coding, and now into Xero with the appropriately coded transaction and the source document attached, ready to be reconciled if it's already been paid, and or to be paid using Veem. And this is where I'm going to pass the mic over to Melissa so she can show how we close the loop on this workflow.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to start off right where we left off. We're over here in there. So actually, you can also navigate to your bills that you need to pay right on that dashboard there by clicking that button. You go in, and look at that. I need to probably actually access it through my bills to pay. There it is. Okay, so going in, we love trees, so we want to purchase those lovely trees. What's happening here is a two-way data sync. So I am the accountant for Treehouse Company here. I'm going to go to my platform in Veem and sign in. So when I go in, I have a lovely platform here that shows me my account, if I want to make payments for me or my clients. If I want to invite new clients to my dashboard, simply press the button here for invite new client. And if not, I can manage my clients individually by clicking into their accounts. So when we go into here, because I have the Xero integration aligned, the first dashboard it'll take me to automatically is my Xero bills. This will give me a quick insight into all the bills I have open right now. See here, we give you a quick status update. So this bill happens to be missing vendor information. This one is missing purpose of payment. Now that the bill is import to bill, it'll magically pull through in the Xero tab to Veem. All we require to send a payment is the supplier profile from Xero that Hubdoc will update. So Veem will require for the supplier profile, first and last name, a business name, a phone number, and the country for the supplier, in this case, Canada. So if all the information is complete, the bill will show as ready. So right there. So if it's not the top of the one, you can look into it by supplier here. It'll pull up all of the names here, and I'm looking for bills specifically from Cameron Supplies Canada. Now, that is unfortunate, but it happens in live demos sometimes. So give me 1 second, guys. Now, the unfortunate bit is Xero, we might be having an API call issue, which just means that it might take 2 minutes and not be live. So in that instance, let me just pay some other bills for you. And hopefully in that time, we'll see Cameron Supplies Canada pop up. So as mentioned earlier, we service over 100 countries. So you'll see here we have bills in USD. We have bills in Great Britain pound. We have some euros. We have some Australian dollar, so on and so forth. Any bill that's ready, we can pay individually, or we can mass pay. This would be that you have clients already. This specific one had some, you went in once a week, you see that the bills are queued, or maybe they had draftee privilege and they did a whole bunch of bills at once, and now they're moving over to your accounting firm to approve. Simply go here and select Pay Selected. You see here, you can either consolidate the payments, make it as one, but because they're from different companies, obviously not. So we go here for the amount, confirm everything's right, check a reference number, and then simply press confirm. All these actions now are in sent. So what's happened now is that we've initiated the pull from your bank, because we do bank-to-bank wire payments, and send it over. So when you press OK here, we've now updated the status of these bill pays, and they've moved out. What that means in your Xero account is if we go back over to your dashboard, we've now paid these bills. So on another end, you will have a receiver getting an email prompting them to accept their payment and complete their banking details in the select the currency they wish to receive the funds in. After they completed their account and accepted the payment, the transaction will debit it from your bank account, and a record of the transaction will be posted in Xero in a Veem clearing account, and a record will appear in your bank feed. So up here is where we show your Veem clearing account. If you have so we have right here 2 items to reconcile. So 2 bills we've put in there already. Clicking into it, we see here that we already had a bill previously from Cameron Supplies. If I want to look here, I can see that Cameron Supplies Canada was here. So if that bill had successfully gone through Veem, I simply click it and there we go. Enter the clearing account I want to enter into, which we can see right here under Cameron Supplies, and we press OK. Going back to our dashboard, we attach it to the specific clearing account, and there you go, reconciliations. Once we specified the vendor, it'll prompt you to do this automatically. And you see here and send the payment, it reconciles in those 3 clicks. So that's everything from your bill pay side. I can go over to Xero right now and see if we're having any luck with that API call. But again, that is the chance you take when you do a live demo. Wish I could have shown you that specific one. Oh, actually there it is, guys. The demo gods called my answer. So when we there, pay select it, and there we go. We're seeing our 20,000 Canadian reference. I want to confirm there. And perfect. Okay, so that's done. Now it'll be in Xero. Maybe patience is a virtue. So going into there now, we see the same information back, but again, it is that same process. So from there, Jeff, I can hand it back to you.
That's great. Thank you. I'm glad that the demo worked in the end. Sometimes that happens with live demos, we know, but we find that it's incredibly valuable to actually try to show these applications working in real life. But thanks so much, Melissa. I think that was great.
Hey, one real-time hiccup, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. So we're going to pass the mic over to you now to ask any outstanding questions that you may have. And then Melissa and I are going to talk about a few offers that we currently have in place for the month of May. So excited to get to that as well. Okay, so question from Steven. How do you go about assigning out approval roles for the particular bills in Hubdoc? So the approval process actually doesn't happen from within Hubdoc. It happens from within Veem, your payment processing tool. So Melissa, do you have some additional context on how the approval process works within Veem?
I can. Can you send over again to me?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. So you guys here. So back to my accountant dashboard here. I'll go into my account and show you guys. So right here, I have my network. If I go into my settings, I have these different user protections I can go into. So if my account had been set up with multiple people, I can enable multi-approval. So I'm actually a user on someone else's account, our main accountant's account. I have the privilege of drafting payments, managing users, approve, send payments, and assign access to settings. So as it goes through, each one of the people under your umbrella, you can set in here. If you select they only have draft payment privileges, they can set up all the payments. When they press that send payment button, instead what it will do, it will prompt to the master account owner that a draft payment is there for their approval. Once going through there, and actually a very nice setting is that all these notifications will be at the top of your dashboard. So if I go back to my proper Veem dashboard here, into the treehouse, you saw at the top those notifications of need attention. Any payment that a draftee puts up will automatically come up here first, regardless of what dashboard, if you have both integrations up, what dashboard is showing. It'll show you what needs your attention first. These will be your draft payments. So back into here. As well, you guys might be seeing a little one here. This is Veem Rewards. For every payment your client sends or you send directly, you do earn Veem Rewards. Check it out on our website. It's not the use of today's demo, but I want to answer this question fully, so we're going back here. So there, I can look in here. If I want right now, I could just take away all of Jeff's privileges and just make him a manage users. That means he can do the same thing I'm doing here. So this is the master account we're looking at now. These are all the people I have on that I could allow to access payments on my account. So yeah, again, turn on 2FA and enable multi-approval, which means 2 or more people would be for the single payment. And that is how you would do that.
Awesome. Thanks so much for answering that question.
Of course.
I'm gonna pass the screen back over to me. The back and forth, at least, is working quite well.
The one thing that will never go live demo is the actual software working well, thank God.
So question from Jean, do Veem and Hubdoc also work with QBO? The answer is absolutely.
For the sake of this demonstration, we wanted to showcase the Xero workflow. That said, the QBO workflow is effectively exactly the same. Hubdoc to automatically collect financial documents, extract the key data, publish those documents over to QuickBooks Online as accurately coded transactions with source document attached. Once the transactions are in QuickBooks Online, they're reflected in Veem. Veem can then issue the payment. Once the payment is complete, reconcile on the QuickBooks Online side. So it's the same exact workflow, just in the middle, instead of a blue user experience, you're going to have a green one.
That's exactly correct. As well, Veem, we do not fully integrate with QuickBooks Desktop, but our export files are designed with that intact. So we do develop our entire workflow for QBO users, but some firms still use QB Desktop. So just be aware that yes, our export function does work with that as well.
Cool. Question from David. Does Hubdoc fetch checks or check images? The answer to that question is yes, sometimes. So it depends on the actual connection. So we connect to over 700 financial institutions, utilities, telecom providers, and online vendors. For the most part, for larger banks or financial institutions within Canada or the United States, we tend to fetch the check images. For you to know if that is the case for the bank you'd like to connect to, you can check out our list of live connections. Next to the connection, there's an enhanced section. If it says enhanced, that means that we fetch more than a statement, and that potentially means check images, CSVs, e-transfers, deposit slips, so on and so forth. And what's great is that if you're an accounting or bookkeeping partner, and even if you're a small business, accounting and bookkeeping partners get access to a free VIP Hubdoc account for their practice, which means that you can try it out for yourself and connect to the bank you'd like to connect to see if it's fetching the information you'd like for it to. And then if you're a small business, you have access to a free 14-day trial to do much of the same.
All right, question from John. Can you use Hubdoc if the mobile phone is a Windows phone, and can Hubdoc handle QB classes?
So I'm going to go with the Windows phone. The mobile application is available for free on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, and not on any type of Windows app marketplace. So that would mean that the Hubdoc application would work on an Android device or an Apple device. So not at the moment. That said, that might be something that we would explore in the future based on customer demand. And then as it relates to QB classes or projects or what have you, since the sync is bi-directional, whatever characteristics you have associated within that general ledger file will show up in Hubdoc. The reason why we only had the supplier name or contact as it's named in Xero, and the chart of accounts or the account codes, and not things like classes or projects, is because they just didn't exist in the general ledger. If they do exist in the general ledger, it'll reflect in Hubdoc, and you can start to use those characteristics to code transactions. Awesome. So it looks like those are all the questions for today's webinar. Thanks so much for shooting them over. If you have any additional questions, you can email us directly at support@hubdoc.com, and we'd be happy to help. And Melissa, what is the best way to contact Veem?
That is actually my next slide, if we could flip over to it.
Wonderful.
Look at that up. So if you have any questions today, please email partners@veem.com. If you want a demo on maybe QBO product to see how that workflow works with inside QBO as well, or just any general inquiries, partners@veem.com. If you'd like to sign up for free, you can visit www.veem.com/accountants. Maybe say hi to Victor and Velma over there and get that nice little demo. Our Veem Accountant program is actually geared towards accountants and bookkeepers. We have a program set up that takes you to an MVP level. So again, we don't have subscriptions, but what that means for your firm is that we do a very strong content strategy and work with our partners in ways to help better your firm, as well as give you a little gift here and there. So please, I encourage you to check out the Veem Accountant Program at veem.com/accountants.
Awesome. And then last but not least, I did mention that Hubdoc offers accounting and bookkeeping practices a free VIP account for their practice. But in addition to that, for a limited time, we are providing a special offer, and that is 50% off on all new clients added to Hubdoc before May 31st. So that means that if you add one client or 100 clients, you're going to get 50% off the retail price, which in Canadian dollars is 25, and in US dollars is 20. So a great offer, a great way to get started on Hubdoc. Visit hubdoc.com/partners for more information. And again, if you have any questions, you can email us directly at support@hubdoc.com. So thank you so much to everyone for joining us on today's webinar. Thank you for Melissa for being a wonderful co-host and for providing a great demo of Veem. We hope that everybody has a great rest of their day, and we'll chat soon.